Yeah,
is that a MegaCon or Fort Lauderdale SuperCon? That's not.
It's probably Fort Lauderdale SuperCon. For some reason, I can't hear myself with this headphone. Takes a while for me to like listen to. I don't know.
Can't hear with those.
No, I can. Is that they're kind of like?
Is the port damaged?
I think it's
not of this. I mean of this.
Yeah. That's the damaged one. Can you hear yourself in there? You should be able to hear yourself properly. Did you forget how to put it on?
No, I mean, like, can I put it on before I can tell you if I hear it myself?
Technically, you can do whatever.
Because I can hear myself. Because you're asking, can you hear yourself? I'm like, yes. Yes, yeah.
Never change, George. Never change.
I don't. I do actually, but then I don't.
Oh my god! What's up, everybody? Let's just start. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry, we just started the show right now. While the title thing was going on, George was telling me that J. Michael Straczynski was he's making a biography, autobiography about his life.
And the thing is, we met him at SuperCon, and while nice, he was very, very, very shy.
He was awkward, man.
And then I know why, because he didn't have friends. Like he says in an interview where he talks about in the book is he didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and he was just a lonely kid.
He was just like
no, and I can see that now.
He was just one big lonely kid.
Yeah, because he's like 6'3".
Yeah, he was huge, wasn't he?
Yeah, like he was
huge.
Even sitting down, he was just like.
But he was just like it's the funny thing is when I met him, I'm like, hey, I'm a great fan, like your stuff. Of course, I didn't tell him about Spider-Man.
I love a Spider-Man, but I think you fucked up because you kept it too vague.
How?
You said I'm a fan, and you just presented books. It's almost like you didn't say, like I guess it's saying your cred.
Well, okay, so it's like one of those.
Like you came off like such a vulture because I'm a fan. Sign CGC books now.
Do it now.
Do it now.
No, because it was weird because like when you meet an artist and you tell them I'm a big fan, you want to talk to them a little bit more. You want to have a follow-up like comment or anything, but I tend to work off the artist's like perception of me, like when they look at me and they like say something and whatnot. Like if somebody says, like for example, Steve McNeve, right?
Yeah.
I go, hey, I'm a big fan. I love your work in Wolverine. He's like, oh, thank you so much, man.
But you specified what you liked in his work, Wolverine. You didn't do that with J. Michael Straczynski. You just said fan sign with the CGC. I have shop. So you came across as someone that like you used your get in thing as an excuse.
Okay, yes, I'll give you that.
Like with McNiven, it seemed more sincere.
But I think it's also the handler too as well. Their handlers like throw me off, man. I really hate it. I know it's part of the business, even like on on the music on the entertainment level, like music and movies and all that stuff. Like you have to deal with the agents and publicists and whatnot. But that throws me off so much. Like Stevie Aoki was great. Stevie Aoki, Tom Billio, when they were here, they were amazing. They were awesome. You know, you can talk to them. But their Stevie Aoki's publicist, she was a real just in case they're listening, because Tom Billio, remember who we were. Tyler Kirkham.
But I don't think it was even the handler, because his handler was just nice and just.
No, man, she wasn't. Don't like her.
She was nice to me, so fuck you. Like I went day one, and she was like, "Oh, okay, thank you."
Yeah. She was like, but like Stevie Aoki.
Also, conventions are tiring. You asked them on Sunday.
Yeah, that was like the last day.
That's the point. You ask them when they're like, humanity has suffered, they're exhausted. Like being in a convention has to be like, oh, when you're just like you're honestly a zoo. Like,
Steve McNiven was nice. We talk Raptors all day.
But Steve McNiven wasn't there for most of the day. He would leave after like 2 or 3 hours.
True.
So for him, he wasn't a carnival animal being like, look. That's what when you're a creator and at a convention, that's what you are. You are the animals in the zoo being like, look, look, look.
We should. I should actually ask John. I'm actually planning to ask John Boy to be on the show next week.
That's cool.
See. Also to promote his appearance here too as well. But we're not here to talk about how I'm awkward with J. Michaels.
No, this is so worth it because it's funny.
Because I'm not even denying it. It was true. I'm not denying it. It was true. He was awkward as hell. I don't like him. But he was a little bit awkward too as well, man.
I know, but I think it's because he didn't have a lot of contact as a kid. You could see that now.
Jeez. Can you imagine him like on set of like show movie? Like, how do you talk to that man?
Actually, apparently, like he's super cool on set in terms of like everyone has lunch together. If you're not allowed to go to your trailer or anything.
Like he tells him that or something?
Yeah, like that's a rule on his sets. Like on Babylon 5 and stuff, he would make everyone eat together. Like everyone is equal. There's a certain egalitarian level.
Eat with me.
I don't know if it's eat with me, but it's not like you're not special.
It's so stupid. Okay, well today
you're not special. I'm not special. He's not special. Welcome to Fight Club.
Everyone is special. Well today we're talking about how
really even Florida man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Florida man.
I meant Florida man.
But by the way, just a side note before I start talking about the topic today, did you see that meme?
There's so many memes. Please specify.
Of the Area 51 and the Avengers meme.
No, I've seen all the Naruto ones though.
Okay, so there was like they took the final fight, not the final fight scene, the Wakanda fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like the Avengers were getting beat up by all those creatures and whatnot, and each Avenger had like a name. It says Bruce Banner with the Hulkbuster says Tech Guy.
Yeah.
And then Captain America says all Kyle's and all that stuff, right? While they're getting beat up. And then when Thor came by from the freaking when he teleported by.
Never.
So what ended up happening was before he shows up and when that teleportation thing like smoke comes out, you know what it says?
No.
It says Florida man, coke addicts.
Jesus Christ. I actually have been wanting to.
It's actually pretty funny. It's actually true.
But I keep wondering, like, in all seriousness, can you comment on this? How much of the Area 51 jokes are like, there's going to be that one guy showing up? Like, I'm curious, like, how many people really do intend to show up?
I'm more curious in how many people think that that this store is actually going to show up.
This store?
Yeah.
I guess.
That's just stupid.
But, like, I love how everything is about charging at Area 51 with the Naruto run.
Yeah. It's like, we spend one day trying to convince Lewis that it actually works. And he's like, no, it doesn't work. I'm like, listen, Lewis, can you list all the abilities of Naruto? And then he lists every one of them. He's like, do you think the U.S. Army has accounted for every one of them? Think, Lewis, think. It was the funniest thing ever. Okay, enough of this thing. Let's talk about something.
I'd rather talk about Area 51 now. Actually. What's in there?
That's another show for just nothing, man.
Can they stop everyone?
That's just another show for just nothing.
I really think it's all the people on 4chan that just have nothing else to do starting shit. And then someone is like that one guy who takes things too far is like, no.
They're just like, it's a slow day.
No. There's that one guy who takes things too far is like, no, we should do this. Like the one guy who like when you show them a meme will be like, no, this is real. Like the people believe Pizzagate.
I will tell you this though. They said that there's like flights have been booked already. Didn't you tell me that?
No, that wasn't me.
That there's an increased amount of people booking flights to Nevada. So it was kind of interesting. That's why like the U.S. Army had to like step in and tell people like, you're not getting in. Like there's no way. It got to that point where they have to tell them.
I really, really want everyone to rush it and then it be empty.
Just nothing.
There's just nothing because they moved everything already. Or it's the layer under.
It's like, you guys are fucking idiots. You announced this 2 months ahead of time. We had time to move shit.
Yeah, it's like we sent it all the way to another base. I really want that to happen.
It's so stupid. All right, enough of this thing. Okay, so we're actually we ranted for 10 minutes about this stupid thing.
Do you want to see if we can rant for 30? I want to.
It's like, what the hell? What's all this comic book stuff? So we're actually going to be talking about another continuation from last week's discussion, how comic books are actually viewed as art in like other countries.
Yeah.
it came about because we were talking about how conventions in other countries were treated as like comic book conventions, and in here it's more form like advertisement, marketing, and entertainment kind of thing. It's just kind of getting out of hand. We also got into the fact that we're going to discuss too. I'm just going to mention a little bit too as well that I'm going to be going back to Canada for 4 days for Fan Expo. So we're going to have a shameless plug. We're going to have Timmy at the con in there again. So if you guys want something signed, just let me know. We're going to have packages set on ready by Wednesday. So you can take a look at that. But I'm going to be going there. But when you see the lineup of artists in Fan Expo, it's insane.
What days are you going? First one?
August 22nd to the 25th. 4 days.
You're going to all 4 days of Fan Expo?
I'm going all 4 days.
Oh, you're going hard.
It's work now, man. It's work now. It's not even like entertainment anymore. I'm just there for work, man. So I'm going there for all 4 days. I'm just going to my phone trying to show George. Did you see the lineup already? Not yet.
No.
Okay, I'm just going online right now and showing George the lineup for Fan Expo and how different it was from the convention in here. Because we were talking about like, okay, you know, other artists and other guests wants to go somewhere else because they view their work as art, you know, whether it's writing or illustration. These are so I just handed over the phone to George.
The Todd Fowler.
Yeah. So everybody
Mike Niven,
who's going to be listening to this on the Spotify, you guys don't know what he's looking at, but he's looking at the whole lineup right now. But for everybody watching live, you guys see that he's looking through the whole lineup.
Oh, Dale Eaglesham.
Yeah.
David Finch.
Like look
Jason Fabic.
Look through
Mitch Jarrett's.
Yeah. But like, do you see the lineup like how you're scrolling right now?
Phil Jimenez.
It's like one after
Dude,
another.
Jeff Lemire. Oh, you should get Jeff Lemire.
Jeff Lemire's gonna be there too. Keep going.
Ed McGuinness.
Mm-hmm.
Stan Sakai. That's awesome. Tim Sale.
Oh, Ed McGuinness can't escape me now.
Dude, Stan Sakai. Brian Stelfreeze.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like Brian Stelfreeze.
I'm gonna be there just literally trying to convince Ed McGuinness to come because like I've been trying to get Ed McGuinness to the store, man. So he can't escape me now. I'm just gonna be there.
You should get Brian Stelfreeze. Oh, Nick Bradshaw.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Campbell. He's breaking out.
Jamal Campbell's gonna be busy that weekend. You know that, right? Because of Naomi.
Yep.
People are just gonna get their Naomi sign.
Oh boy.
If Bendis was there, it would have been like a fiasco. So I mean, like, who else is there? You see that you're scrolling.
To be fair, this is stupid, but one of my favorite colorists is there, Dave McCraig.
Mm-hmm.
That really like.
Alex St. Clair is going to be there too as well.
I don't like him that much.
You don't like Alex St. Clair?
I do, but not his new stuff.
Really?
It's too. I don't like how he does faces.
What's wrong? What's wrong with it?
Just doesn't do it for me. Like it's good. It's just it's an aesthetic choice. It's not like it's bad. It's not for me.
Really? Oh.
I haven't liked an Alex St. Clair thing since like 2000, since after Blackest Night.
Really good.
That's his like magnum opus in coloring to me.
No, but I mean, when he does John Romita's stuff.
When he does John Romita, I like it because it's flatter.
Yeah.
I don't like how he colors Frank Miller or Jim Lee because like I think Frank Miller would look like this is just it's good or bad. I like Frank Miller with flat colors.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Lynn Varley of the 80s.
Right.
Like I don't like digital on Frank Miller. Jim Lee, sometimes they play with the digital, like they kind of do a lot of rendering on the faces, and it's kind of weird for me.
What about when he does Ivan Reis?
I like him on Ivan Reis.
See?
But it's flatter colors. It has to be when he's.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. Like he doesn't do the same thing he does with Jim Lee with Ivan Reis.
Yeah, I mean, because
it's different artists. I understand it.
Technically, he has somewhat of a loyalty to Jim Lee.
Doc Shaner is going. I want a sketch from him so badly.
Well, there you go. So you can actually look at the fact.
Steve Sadowski. I like.
See, so
Mike Walsh.
So he's looking at all of these artists right now. So if you guys are just watching right now, he's looking through a bunch of artists that's going to be in Fan Expo Canada. I'm going to be in Fan Expo Canada for 4 days. Timmy at the con is coming back. So if you guys want something signed, want something sketched, I'm going to have the packages available this Wednesday. But the whole point of him actually scrolling through is I want him to.
He wants me to be envious of his trip to Canada because.
Envy me, damn it!
I do. Look at this.
So essentially, we're talking.
Also, Ramon Perez, I really like.
So we're talking about how, like, in other conventions, Comic-Con is actually a comic convention, and he's scrolling through all the guest lists in Fan Expo Canada, and it's just endless scrolling. He's just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Where what MegaCon or SuperCon here
It's
was
just a
like
scroll.
it's just one big flick. You just flick your thumb, and then that's it. It's all done, right? In here, he scrolled like what 14 times at least, and he's going back and forth, and it's insane. It's insane, right? All these people, going is just it's you would go bankrupt.
Yeah,
You would go bankrupt with this.
Yep.
Like even Todd McFarlane's gonna be there. Todd McFarlane always goes, but just to let everybody know,
the Todd father.
if you guys are wondering, oh, you can get something signed by Todd McFarlane and get it CGC. No, that's not how it works. Todd doesn't do CGC as often as you guys think he does. He does like 2 or 3 private signings a year, and that's it, right? So anyone who wants to,
didn't you say you could get David Finch? Get David Finch. I'll buy stuff from him. Get David Finch.
I didn't say I can get David Finch.
Yes, you did. You said I told David Finch when I opened the store he would come. He said yes.
And him. Yeah, and then I asked him. He's like, I don't remember you.
See, that's because you don't ask people the right fucking way.
No, it was been 9 years ago.
You should have taken a picture, but you should have had him sign.
There was a picture,
but did you get him to sign something like in terms of no, like a legal document?
Yes.
No, you asked sign comic. Did you say? Did you put no? Did you put? If you sign this, you will come to my store, kind of thing, or did you?
No.
Then you fucked up. No.
There's like a picture of it, like from Gotham Central when I was there. Essentially,
dude, you've lost hair. That doesn't count.
So David Finch was there, and then what ended up happening was Jason Finch and Jason Pavic was there doing a signing. This is before, by the way. This is before New 52. Just to let everybody know, this is pre New 52, and I was like, hey. A big fan of your art and whatnot. I said that I've always wanted to own a comic book store. I was wondering if sorry, someone just came into the store. I was wondering if there's a way that you can come to my store if I ever open a comic book store. And Jason Fabic and David Finch were just like, oh hell yeah, man, we'll come. And
Klaus Janson.
And just because they were just kind of like starting up at the time, I guess. Well, not starting up, but they were like
Finch was known.
Yeah, not as big.
Big. Finch was super big. He had done Avengers with Bendis, Ultimatum.
No, huge big. Like the way he is now.
No, he was big then. I don't think I don't think Fabic was big because he was his assistant.
When I first met him, he's just like, yeah, take a look at these. Like, yeah. He's like, these are not.
Dude, but he was already on the A list. It doesn't cost as much. I'll give you that.
He didn't even like charge me for a signature. I gave him like 5 books. I remember.
He didn't charge me for a signature.
No, this was a store signing.
He didn't charge me for signature at a convention.
Now he's charging signatures.
That's comic sketch art.
So that's another topic.
Oh no, because I got him to sign stuff before he was with comic sketch art. Never mind. That's a caveat.
There you go. So,
dude, get Brian Stelfreeze.
This man is still looking through the whole thing. So, anyways, the point is
I have a sketch list and there's people on that sketch list and you should bring them.
So the point is that essentially, other conventions, they definitely just treat it as art. Why are they not treating it as art in here? Did we touch on that last week?
Because the United States thinks art is a peasant's thing. Like in all fairness, like and in the US things are like a lot of times things are treated with their value in terms of money. I think that's part of it because when people talk about art in the United States, they're just like, you're going to be poor. You're not contributing anything pragmatic. So I think it's part of that.
So do you think it should change in culture?
Yeah. I like in other countries, how much they put to like developing art in terms of literature, their books, their film, their comics, and then compared to the US that does shit.
Okay, so now let me ask you this then.
Like even old ancient cultures, like there was like systems for patronage, like in Greece, like Renaissance, like obviously it wasn't the government, it was like the Medici family, but there was a patronage system. I don't know if there's something like that can support artists in the US. Like fuck PBS, that does shit. Endowment for the Arts, that does shit. It's like,
well, let me ask you this then. I'll go back to the same question I had last week. I don't know if you're going to change your mind on it. Where should it start?
It's top bottom. I think everything is so fucked.
Yeah.
It's just like if you start bottom, the problem is you have to wait 50 years. And then like, even then you don't know what kind of positions the people in the bottom will, but you should still start bottom. You should still start in the middle to top, not full top, but middle.
Do you think that let me ask you this question. Do you think that Comic Cons should
Also, I think fans sometimes too are the issue.
it is.
I think because culturally, like comics, like in all fairness, comics are treated as the disposable medium.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell you last week.
No. But like, I mean, like it's not just it's both culture and like fans. Because in comics, there's this perception if you read it, it's done. Like you keep the issues because it has a value, but that's again attributing art to a numerical fiscal thing.
Right.
It's not that like I'm keeping it because I love it. Like I think fans have something to do with how they treat it as well.
Okay. I see. I see what you're coming from. Well, I mean, like that's what I've been trying to tell you last week. It has to change with the fans. You got to change the fans' perspective on it. I mean, let me ask you this though. To change the perspective from top bottom, do you think that
I don't do trickle down.
do you think that do you think they most conventions should follow what San Diego's doing? They're pretty much advertising as now. No, this is what San Diego's doing. They're saying it's San Diego Comic Con gathering of pop culture.
Yeah, I don't know, and it's funny you bring that up. I was reading last night that San Diego's attendance was down.
I heard about that.
Yeah, San Diego's attendance was down. Not as many companies were actually promoting their film stuff. There wasn't as many comic announcements as a whole. Like
there wasn't.
Like there was the X-Men announcement. There was the Marvel stuff, but that's it. Like if tell me a big announcement, there wasn't that many substantive ones. So like I think there's nothing. There was, I don't know. In a couple of years, I want to see what happens with San Diego.
Yeah, because
maybe it reached that bubble and its bubble went.
Yeah, because most of the announcements, comic book related, has been made prior to it.
Exactly, it's so weird. And then there was an announcement which was Tom King's next work is Adam Strange.
Yeah.
It was online on San Diego weekend, not at the con.
Not the con. And then they were talking about the new book by Dan Mora.
Yeah.
That one blew up before it even started because they announced it on a Monday.
But they had announced that book months ago.
I know, but they announced the exclusiveness of it.
Yes. But the announcement of the new book with Dan Mora was made months ago.
Oh yeah, 2 months ago. Yeah.
So like, what is the role? Like before, San Diego was the place of all the big announcements.
Yeah.
Like that's when they would announce all the new creative teams, the movements, and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
What is it now? I don't know. Like I don't know what like in all like this. It's reached the point where in the next couple of years, San Diego is going to have to change what it is.
There's more people lining up for a Conan show than they are to like San Diego Comic Con now.
Which one?
The Conan show.
Like Conan O'Brien?
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know why, right?
No.
Because he give away free pops that you can only get at his show. So more people are just kind of just going.
The tickets still sold out really quickly.
Oh yeah,
which makes me a little confused. If they're selling out quickly and as quick as past years, but at the same time there's not as many people, I'm wondering what's happening there.
Well, that's kind of weird. How are you selling out quickly, but then the attendance is low?
I know.
You mean like body wise?
That's what's my issue then. Like I'm really curious what's
scalpers.
I think that might be it. I don't know what's going on in San Diego.
Like how is that possible? It's like ticket sales. You mean body? It's per person.
Oh,
so you're just gonna buy a ticket and be like, yeah, I'm going all 4 days, $400. Nah, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Like that makes no sense.
Like yeah.
Or like some people change their mind.
I want to see actually now that this shit went that San Diego went down because New York Comic Con's the other really big one.
Yeah,
I want to see if they do more comic announcements and then compare.
They're not.
No. New York Comic Con when they do it like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well,
and see if like if it's like what I mean is if they do the same number of announcements, that means like they're not doing announcements at conventions anymore.
I can tell you without proof. And this is the first time you'll hear someone. I'll tell you confidently without proof. I'll tell you without proof that
I'm full of shit.
No, that it feels like there is more comic book announcements during New York Comic Con than it would be in San Diego.
I want to see if they do that again this year, and then if they do, what does that mean for San Diego? What does San Diego become?
Nothing.
It just becomes. It's a spotlight panel place.
Is it still a mecca?
That's what I want to know.
It's not going to be a mecca anymore.
But going back to the art thing to get on track, another thing that I noticed is you can tell how a culture values art by how it archives it. And I don't think comic art is very well archived. and the way that comics being archived, like the history of preserving the pages, it didn't become a real standard practice till probably the 70s, I guess.
Right.
Like in the 60s when Marvel had the pages by Ditko, Lee, Steranko, Cole, and they would just give them away sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they didn't A, organize them. B, if some guy delivered a sandwich, they give it to the guy. C, people would steal it, so no one knows what some of those issues would be. Like just recently,
yeah,
at the Library of Congress, someone donated all the pages for Amazing Fantasy 15.
No.
But in the 70s, when they cataloged all of the remaining pages, that one wasn't there. So that means either someone took it home or someone had like.
Okay, wait, hold on. Go back to that.
They just showed up at the Library of Congress.
Okay. Let's sidetrack a little bit. Go back to that whole Amazing Fantasy 15. So somebody donated all of Steve Ditko's pages.
Correct. And with Steve Ditko's approval. It was donated
before he died?
Yes. It was donated anonymously. And they even said that, like, oh, it's with Steve Ditko's approval and they want to remain anonymous. And Ditko didn't have the pages.
Wait. How do you remain anonymous if Steve Ditko's... No, he's not the one who donated it. He's the one who approved it.
Yes.
Okay. But the person who owned it
remains anonymous. And it blew my mind because in the 70s, when they cataloged all the remaining pages they had left over from the 60s,
yeah,
that was one of the ones that was missing.
Did he? How was that?
And it wasn't the practice of Marvel in the 60s to give art back. So that comic, no one knows how the fuck it ended up there.
How is Amazing Fantasy 15 missing?
No one knows. It just showed up.
Like it's missing.
In all fairness, at the time, no one knew what they didn't care about original pages. Like the Marvel writing test in the 60s was a page of Jack Kirby art, and you had to write over it.
That's weird. So for everybody who doesn't know why I'm kind of like baffled by this, Amazing Fantasy 15 is the first appearance of Spider-Man. So for it to be missing, that is insane.
But they just didn't care. Like if you look at like the filings from the 70s, it'd be like 2 issues consecutive they have, they miss one. 2 issues consecutive they have, miss one. It's like because they never cared.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that if you're the person or people cataloging it, and then you'll be like, we have this Amazing Fantasy 15. We have this. You just don't skip over.
I think at the time,
Amazing Fantasy 15.
I don't disagree, but I think it was still at that point in time when comic pages were like $20. And like people were like, yeah, take it. Like there's a guy who bought a bunch of John Romita senior, which costs more than junior pages. And he says like, yeah, I got them for like $20 at the time. And if you look at a Romita senior page online, it's like 20 grand.
So this person who owned all pages of Steve Ditko's Amazing Fantasy 15 could be his relatives.
I don't know if it's relatives. I have because his relatives were at San Diego saying they're going to reprint his work. They never mentioned anything about it. And at the time in the 60s, Marvel didn't give back art at all to the artist.
His lover?
He didn't have anyone when he died.
How do we know? He's a hermit.
No, that's the point. He had no one. Like he wasn't married.
Well, we don't know. Maybe
there's never been anything to say he married, and for all intents and purposes, he was such a hermit. He didn't like. I don't think so. I think he was asexual. And I don't think it was a bad thing. Like,
it can't be.
I think he was like, I don't think that was a focus for him. For him, it was the work.
Do you think Stan Lee's people had it?
No, Stan couldn't give a shit because he gave it away. Like,
yeah, but out of respect to Steve, he probably kept it.
No, him and Steve did not get along at the end.
I know, but I said out of respect.
Don't say out of respect because if Stan really had respect for Steve, he wouldn't have said some of the shit he said.
So I mean, who has it?
Well, now the Library of Congress, which is kind of nice because one of the most important issues of comics history will feel like forever be preserved in somewhere.
I feel like this is something that we should investigate for a whole year. And then
I looked it up and I couldn't find anything but that goes back to it's the fact that like a lot of pages from key issues of seminal moments in comic history, they're just missing or they're in like private collectors. Like there's sometimes like the Illustrator Society in New York that does exhibits, but no one like film. Like classic films are preserved in studios and in some universities. Like the film reels of some original movies, like even if they're damaged, they're preserved.
Yeah.
Whole films.
Isn't Citizen Kane like in the university somewhere?
I don't know about Citizen Kane. That would be interesting. I know like some of like Orson Welles movies, some are preserved fucking piss poor, like the 50s ones. But there's nothing like that for comics. Like as a society, we don't go about preserving them. Like it's only the collectors that are the ones that get these like
No, it's true.
And I understand from an artist standpoint, you sell them, you have an additional source of income.
Mm-hmm.
But man, as a culture, we're not preserving some of these things.
You know what it is. You know what? In my opinion, that ruins it are just comic book hunters who want to flip it right away.
Yeah,
they're the ones who's not preserving the culture, in my opinion.
You can say the flip it, but there's also the same thing with a collector. Like, how is the collector preserving it if he's the only person looking at it every day?
Well, he's preserving history. You can say it that way.
You can say that, but that depends if he sells it when he dies or he donates it when he dies.
Kind of like with the Steve Ditko thing. Yeah, exactly. But let me put it this way. I had customers who said that I want to keep this for my kids, and my kids can keep it and then pass it on. So in their defense, there are people like that, but there are much more people who would literally just grab these and flip it sometime
completely, which is a little sad. But I've benefited because of it. But now I'll have it forever. So fuck you.
No. Collectors who actually are collecting it and keeping it for themselves, preserving it, benefits from it. I get it, right? Yeah. I get it, but it kind of ruins the culture of it. If you're talking about the culture,
I understand, but it's just sad that like as a society, we don't take the time to preserve these. Like, because like we don't have like some of the like EC Comics was the exception because EC Comics would preserve the art. So then like. That's different, but like a lot of the big appearances of characters like Batman or Superman, where would the original like
wouldn't Warner Brother have those?
I don't know, because like A, how paper was treated back then, B, the process of making comics, because a lot of the Action Comics 1 was supposed to be in a newspaper strip.
I mean, like let me put it this way, I'm not being all religious or anything, but if you can keep a page of a Bible from a Bible, I mean, I think you can keep a page from like 60 years ago.
Dude,
I'm not being all religious.
It's different though, because comic pages now they're 11 by 17. At one point they were a little bigger, so it's harder to store. And sometimes the pages are thick because they're Bristol board. So bending it will damage it. So like I think it's so hard.
There has to be I mean, like the studio or the publication have to have it.
But I don't think so, because that goes back to the thing, they just didn't care for a long time.
I think in this generation and age with CGC and whatnot, I think there's going to be more books that's going to be preserved.
That's books, not pages.
Yeah, not pages.
No one you don't CGC a page.
Actually, there's one of my customers who CGC'd Tyler's sketch.
That's a sketch, not a page. I'm talking about the original art in a comic.
Oh, you mean the preliminaries?
Not just sometimes the preliminary is the rough before the final page. I mean the page, like the pencils.
Yeah.
Because some people don't call that preliminaries, because Steve McNiven will call his preliminaries the sketch before the page.
Yeah, a lot of people call it like original art.
Yeah.
Like I call it preliminaries. But like there's really no term to use it.
But like, man, like so many iconic pages are either in a private collector or lost to like someone.
Yeah, Jim Lee sells his.
But that's because he came up in the age when collectors started.
But actually, no, it's off topic. Did you see who bought the cover for Amazing Spider-Man 299?
No.
Torpedo Comics, the guy who
how much did he pay?
He bought it.
No, how much did he pay?
Oh, he didn't say.
Yeah.
But he has it hanging right now. Like he bought it from I forgot who he bought it from. Oh no, he bought it from Todd.
Jesus.
He bought it from Todd. And then he has the original page for he bought two of them. One of them's $2.99 and the other one's another one from Todd. But it's hanging in Torpedo Comics. This is what happens. This is what happens, boys and girls, when you have a comic book store and you have money. If you don't have money, you don't see any of those. That's why we don't have any of those things hanging at our store, because they're really expensive. I mean,
it depends on the artist.
I mean, a cover for $2.99 is worth thousands of dollars, man.
Because it's an iconic issue.
Yeah, it's thousands of dollars, man. Oh, by the way, did you know, just on a side note, he made a cameo in Detective Comics 1000.
The Torpedo Comics dude? How? Oh, because he's friends with Jim Lee?
Because he's best friends with Jim Lee.
Nice.
Jim Lee just like, sure, man, I'll put you in there. And literally, he bought that page from Jim too.
When I'm bored, I'll sometimes look at how much a cover from Jim Lee costs, and it's 20 grand. Just when I'm bored, I'm just like, oh, how much does this cost? 20 grand. It's like, jeez.
Oh, you know what you can do? You can talk to brother who does the dealing. I should introduce you to him.
His brother?
Yeah.
There's a website called Albert Moy, and that guy sells a lot of Jim Lee stuff.
No, it was another guy.
Albert Moy's website's the guy that has Jim Lee and John Cassidy.
No, that's a guy who sells it too as well. You know what? I'll look it up, but I'll introduce him because I met him in MegaCon a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm Jim's brother, well not." And then that's where I bought the 17 by 11 original sketches. No, printed sketches by Jim, but he
The
remarks them.
oh, the print.
Yeah,
Did
but
you
he
get it
remarked them.
remarked?
Yeah, I was actually in the room while he was remarking it.
But did you get yours remarked?
No, I did it at Timmy at the con thing. Somebody bought it.
You didn't get one for
I
yourself
didn't
for
get
the
one for
store?
myself. No, I didn't get one. It was only the store's 6 months.
You could have gotten. It's like, oh, we have something by Jim Lee. Come look. Like that could be the attraction.
We were only 6 months in, so not only that people wouldn't know that we had it, but also money. I could get one now. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I can get one now.
For yourself.
Yeah, I'm not bragging, but I can get one now. But I was in the room while he was doing the sketch, and this is the first time that I noticed that Jim Lee was a perfectionist because the con already shut down.
Yeah.
And he was doing a private signing. You guys probably, if you guys follow us on Instagram, you probably saw a picture of it where I'm just like sitting there drinking tea and whatnot. He was just signing. And then when he got to those pages, there was like 5 of them that he had to remark in by hand.
Yeah.
Right. And he was remarking with Batman and whatnot. And he did the exact same image over and over. But then he would stop, he would step back a little bit and then erase it and then do it again. Like the dude was a perfectionist, man. He just didn't doodle, man. It was actually pretty cool. So you got your money's worth. You got your money's worth with that. So it was actually pretty cool. By the way, he's short.
Yeah, he looks short. He looks tiny.
He looks shorter than me. I'm 5'6".
I thought he would be your height, but he does look like a small man.
He's shorter than me, man. I was like, you would miss Jim Lee if you're walking. Yeah, you would miss him if he's wearing a hat. You would miss him. You're just like some Asian dude. You would totally miss him. But the nice
if you took him hostage and made him do like original art for you, you'd be filthy rich.
I know. Right?
The thing is, everyone will come looking for Jim Lee because he's a co-publisher.
Can you imagine now? You just took him hostage. He's like, "What do you want? Money? No.
I want a sketch.
I want a sketch."
I could understand that because sometimes he only does one sketch per con. I've read stories where he'll only do one sketch for the first person in line.
The thought of it,
and that's if he has time.
The thought of it is like hilarious. It's not even like you're not even demanding. You just kind of whisper to him. I just want to catch.
It's because like you could be asking for more, but you're not.
He's like, are you sure? I can give you like 10,000.
I don't want the money.
Just want the sketch. Shut the fuck up, Jim Lee.
Just want the sketch.
Just sketch me something. And then you just see him sketching. All right, this you gotta have to do this again. Can you erase that part? Can you add a little bit more of this in there? It's like it's the most craziest thing. You just hold him hostage for just sketching.
But dude, it's just crazy that he'll only do like one.
Yeah.
Sometimes one per con.
Because it takes him a while now.
Yeah.
It takes him a while now. The fastest sketch I've seen him done is when he was on Twitch and he did like a Wonder Woman sketch with his eyes closed, blindfolded. That was amazing.
He gives away some of those Twitch ones.
Yeah. He gives for like a toenail or like a pencil.
Sometimes it's just like it's like if you're this person who comments at this number.
Yeah.
And then your comment like
it's yours.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh,
yeah. The thing about Jim Lee is that he knows
what he's worth.
Yeah, he knows what he's worth.
He knows he's worth so much. Like I remember he did a specialty piece just for charity of Batman Robin, and it wasn't published art. It was just a charity piece.
Yeah,
went for 15 grand. And then I saw the guy reselling it on eBay for like that, and I was like, "Oh, jeez."
I actually want to do something.
It's worth a car.
Yeah,
a Jim Lee is a car.
I actually want to do something for Timmy at the con for the kids in the hospital. That I want Jim Lee to sketch something, and then give it to the hospital, and the hospital will be like, "Do whatever you want." They'll be like, "What the hell is this?" I'm like, "It's sketched by Jim Lee." It's like, "What?" They're like, "This is worth $15,000. I just donated $15,000. Stop complaining."
Basically, actually, you know whose sketches are getting really expensive? Jason Fabok.
Yeah,
they're fucking.
You know why, right?
Why?
Because
his pages are exorbitant.
So Jason Fabok, nice guy, very nice guy. So Jason Fabok, if you notice, he's not too much in the media or in the talks.
Yeah,
it's fair to say, right? So his mysteriousness kind of just raises up there. But when he comes out big. Fucking what is that? The button.
Yeah.
Right. He did the button, and then what did he do? He also did Dark Side Wars.
he did the Dark Side War, he did the Button, then he did the Swamp Thing story.
So every time he comes out, it's like,
dude,
big.
no, I disagree because like and I'm not like I saw some of his pages from Detective, like before he was an A-list star, like Detective.
Yeah.
10 grand, 16.
Yeah, I see him.
I was like,
yeah, I was lucky enough to have seen them in Gotham Central.
But that's when he was like an assistant.
That was when he was just like nothing yet. That was like he was nothing yet. And he was literally, when I was there looking at his art, he's like, yeah, this is.
It blows my mind how quickly he's become such a big deal. Like Ivan Reyes is like a top talent. He's been around for like 15 years. An Ivan Reyes page that's $600 versus a Jason Fabik. I think it's because Fabik also inks himself. Yeah, which adds value.
Adds value to it too. But he also has a.
Also, Greg Capullo is another guy.
Yeah, Greg Capullo. He has a special award in Canada.
What?
Jason Fabik.
No, what's the award?
It's like a citizen something award. I don't know. It was given to the Prime Minister or something like that. But he also he did the stamps as well.
I saw that, like some coins, like some special
coins in Canada to commemorate the 80th anniversary for Superman.
Should get a Jason Fabik sketch, and then actually, you should get a Jason Fabik sketch and auction it at the store.
So
you'd probably be able to get some crazy lunatic.
So I'll tell you a story. Hopefully Carlos doesn't get mad at this. So I tell you a story. So Jason Fabik started in Carlos' store in Gotham Central, right? He's always there. He's good friends with Carlos and whatnot, right? It's kind of like the Kevin Smith and Ben Affleck kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So essentially, I invited Jason Fabik in the store, right? I told him, hey, I'm a big fan. And I told him that story when I first met him and all that stuff. He told me he come into my store, all that stuff, right? And he goes, I don't actually go down south too often, right? This was in October. Last year, right? I was like, okay, fine. I accept that. That's great.
Who would want to leave Canada?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to leave Canada, right? I get it. And then in November, there was an announcement in Mike's Comics that he's going to Mike's Comics, and it's in Orlando, right? Yeah,
I saw that. I know what you're talking about.
It's going to Orlando. I was like, yo, what the fuck, man? Like, Orlando, there's nothing in Orlando.
Disney.
Shit.
They go for Disney.
We'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
If you want to get Jason Aaron, tell him you'll pay for Disney.
we'll talk
I'm fucking telling you.
There's a story for that too as well. I'll talk about it later. So anyways, so I saw him going there. I was like, yo, what the hell, man? I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to tell on mom on you. So I called Carlos. I text Carlos. I'm like, hey, Carlos.
You're a fucking snitch.
I'm like, hey, Carlos. It's like a weeping little kid. He's like, Jason said that he wouldn't come to my store.
You're a fucking snitch.
I was like, can you tell him to come? Like I'm texting him. I was like literally telling on him. And then he goes, okay, invite him for free comic book day, and then I'll see if I can talk to him. Right. I just never touched on it again. I was just like, it's fine. He's a big time artist now and whatnot. Plus 3 Jokers about to come, and he just signed with Comic Sketcher.
You're never getting him.
So we're never getting him. But he goes back and forth with Comic Sketch Art.
Oh.
So when there's something big coming out, you'll see him pop up in Comic Sketch Art.
Got it.
So
you should still get a sketch.
I should still
get a
I just kidnap him. Give me a sketch, damn it.
And make it pretty.
Make it pretty.
I want full body.
Full body, everything.
None of that bust shit you've been putting. I want full body.
I don't want no goddamn bust. I want full body action. It's like doing some action.
Tim, does Timmy at the Con include sketches?
It does. It does. It does, man. You didn't see it? It includes
I didn't do Timmy at the Con last year because I can do it for myself.
Yeah, so it includes sketches.
Don't tell me that.
It includes sketches and remarks. Sketches and remarks. So there you go. So I'm taking all of George's money this year.
Oh no. Oh no.
So no, both sketches and everything too as well.
Don't say that. I don't need to be hearing this.
So but yeah, that's my story. And they're like, yeah, I told him Jason Fabik.
I hate
so he's never coming here, guys. Sorry, I told on him.
You're a fucking dirty snitch. You should get
he wouldn't come. Can you tell him, please, to come? It's like I told on him, but anyways, it'll be a funny story.
You're a filthy snitch.
I'll probably tell him.
Filthy fucking snitch.
He'll tell me. I'll tell him that story. He'll probably like have an uncomfortable laugh and be like, get that fuck out of my face.
Here's a sketch.
Get that fuck out of my face.
Here's a pretty sketch. Shut the fuck up.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, like that's basically my story with Jason Pack. So it's kind of hard to get those artists in here, but no, if you guys are wondering, I'm gonna take all of George's money this year for Timmy at the Con because it does include sketches and remarks. So if you guys want a certain
don't say that.
So
fuck,
it's not that well. Just choose, man. There's like so much artists in there. Just choose 3 or 4.
There's so much artists out there. Limited funds.
I know there's so much of them, man. So much. I'll make you a deal, George. If you do like I don't know 5 sketch, I'll do 1 free.
From you?
Yeah, I'll do it. It's worth nothing. No, like
fuck you.
like I'll pay for 1. There you go. If you do 5, I'll pay for. If you
can I pick the 1 or you pay for the cheapest?
No, you do it. No, you do it. I don't care.
No. That's not what I mean. I mean, are you saying that if I get the fifth one's free?
Yeah.
Hypothetically, is
like
the 5th one? That's what I'm going with. Is it the free one is the cheapest of all 5, or is the free one the big one?
I would say if the most expensive is number 5 and the least is number 1, it'll be a 2.5.
Okay.
Half. There you go.
Fine. Okay.
Half.
That's fair.
That will be a 2.5.
That's fair.
I'll do that. But here's the stipulation. It's in Canada.
So
I'm charging Canadian dollars. That would actually work out to your favor based on the exchange rate. Oh my god, that's too funny. No, man.
What's the worst part? I'm actually thinking about it.
Oh, I'm gonna be rich, man, guys. I'm gonna be rich.
I'm gonna be a sad boy.
George is paying for my trip in Canada.
Such a sad boy.
It'll be nice though. It'll be nice. So I mean, just getting back on this. I don't even know how to transition to that.
So getting back on topic. No one cares about preserving art.
Nobody
except collectors.
Yes.
But look, actually that goes back to my point. If it's the collectors preserving art, who does the history for comics? It's the fans. Like a lot of the early history of comics came from fanzines.
Well, isn't that's why there's CGC?
That's preserving like things for value. Like it's telling you a value. Like it's like grading is certifying a value.
Well, I always say it's kind of like if you're finding a Picasso and whatnot, and you're trying to find out if it's a real authentic Picasso.
They don't they verify condition. They don't do like the authentication of sketches unless they're there. Like the other one is what's the
or unless I'm there.
No, what's the comic grading company that verifies signatures? You know which one? The CBGC?
CBC, yes.
Yeah, that one.
CBGB.
That one.
It's so garbage, nobody fucking cares.
But that's what they do.
Yeah. Or if I'm there to witness it.
But what I'm saying is a lot of the things that are important to archiving, preserving the history of comics, it's fans.
Yeah. It's up to you.
Like as a culture, does anyone actually go about like unless it's a fan doing their own fucking shit, like cataloging the history? Like there's certain things in comics we miss out in the history, and like these people die because no one cares, and then no one gets their story. Like it's fans preserving the story. Like
true.
Like do we have Gil Kane stories? Not really. We only know it because of his assistants.
True.
Or like someone that like the only people who would get stories are Stan Lee because he likes talking. He talked about himself, and even then Stan Lee would embellish. Well, because
like you got to look at it this way though. How are those people going to benefit for archiving all these things?
Well, you keep a record and a legacy of yourself. For them, they benefit because their story is told. Like they continue having relevance because of that.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a ingrained cultural thing to want to pass down knowledge.
Yeah. So it's definitely
like that's what a cell does. Your cell passes down knowledge. Like we are like cells. We pass down knowledge.
Yeah. So it definitely is up to you guys to actually just preserve these because no one else is going to do it.
Yep. Same with the history.
Yeah. No one else is going to do it. You know, you'll have hunters. I call them like scavengers, but you'll have like scavengers actually just going through there, just trying to flip as much as they can just to make a quick buck.
But like,
whatnot.
Like the other day, I wanted to like know about some of the behind the scenes stuff of Teen Titans in the 80s. The only way I found that out was a fan website. That had cataloged every. Yeah. It was some crazy set of fans that cataloged every interview with George Perez and Marv Wolfman in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I was able to use it as a resource.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be nice.
But it's fans. It's not.
Yeah. I think it would be nice if like collectively if fans would like do like a Patreon or something. Just have a building. Just, you know, charge people fucking look at these things.
They've tried to do that for like Kirby. Like they've been trying to do a Kirby museum for a couple of years. And anytime there's an art museum that features comics, like or comic art, it's either as a special exhibit, not as a permanent collection, and it's not a government one. It's always I know it's non-profit, but it's always one that's like sourced by donations.
But you know who does that now, but also sells stuff is Alex Ross. He sells his
Alex
art.
Ross gets to be in a special position, I think, with the museums because he's a painter. In all fairness, because he paints. He's not.
So why not have Lee Bormeo and like Lucio Parillo in there, like Francesco Mattina?
I don't disagree. Oh fuck! That's the controversy. The Alex Ross, though,
the kid's still good. All right,
Alex Ross can get a. And it's not like I love Alex Ross, but I think because Alex Ross's art is more from like Dali and Rockwell, like that heritage, than something more like it's more of a traditional painter from the U.S. or like saying recognizable as art than the other ones. Like
no, Parillo does the same thing. When you follow him on Instagram, he does the exact same thing, or even probably even better.
Ross has been around for like 20, 30 years. He also has that. But I'm telling you, it's easier for Ross.
So he's established.
He's established, but his art style comes from that legacy, that lineage. So it's easier to present that as like, oh, comic art that's art because he's a painter, B, he's following the legacy of Rockwell.
I see what you're saying.
Like, is
he really following that legacy, or just people are just putting him there?
I think it's both actually, because he comments it, and B, if you look at his like not just his brushwork, but the way his subjects in his work is very Rockwell like. Like he likes that sense of feeling. Like I'm not talking about the covers, I'm talking about the interiors. Very Rockwell because he likes that slice of life stuff, and very Dali because he can like a lot of people don't give him credit, but like he can get strange. Like his Avengers covers are bizarre.
Right.
So like he has it in him to channel that. So it's not just but yes, it's both pigeonholed and both him doing it.
I guess so. But he's like
in a museum, how do you put a Gil Kane? Like I keep going to Gil Kane because like no one talks about him. But like how do you
give him some exposure?
Yeah. So like if you put a Gil Kane, like what other artist like from popular American like lexicon, who are you gonna compare him to? Like it's hard. That's what I mean. Like or like
I guess so.
Like the other artists you can bring up is artists that create a character. You can like artists that created this.
So are you saying that we should just depend on the government to keep these preserved?
No, the government doesn't do shit. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
it's actually we have to depend on fucking collectors.
Well, you said Amazing 15 was donated to.
I know, and it's great that it gets to be archived, but that's like a one-off. Like for every Amazing Fantasy 15,
right?
There's like a number of comics that do not get that.
Right. I guess so. I mean, it has to be like an Amazing Fantasy 15 caliber in order to be in a museum. I guess, but it doesn't mean it'll be there because some of those pages have been separated. But like, do you think that
but the odds of a whole story from one of those comics being together is so astronomical because of how they would all be distributed.
Right.
And preserved. So like the fact that all of it was together and all of it went to one place is amazing.
Do you think they would?
Pun intended.
Do you think they would ever? Do you think that they will ever archive 181 and 180?
Why 180? Oh, like the Wolverine thing?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that. But like are the pages available? I mean, like, are the pages available together? That's the issue. Like IDW puts out archival editions of art. And a lot of it's from the artist's scan. Like they do really good scans of the original art, but sometimes they can't do every issue because those pages are missing.
Right.
So like you can like it depends what like that's a now 35, 40-year-old comic.
It just sucks that freaking
if you like comics, you like the stepchild of American art.
There has to be a person out there who's like very rich and he's just buying pages after pages.
Dude. So
there has to be like a Bruce Wayne out there.
So I have a very weird hobby, which is I go on Comic Art Fans and I look up collectors' collections.
Yeah.
And there's a guy that I've been a little close stalking, and he sometimes buys whole fucking pages of issues. Like he bought every issue. I don't want to say what issue he bought because then they'll know it's me looking at his stuff. But he bought every page of a Silver Surfer by Mike Allred. What the fuck?
Every one of them?
Every page from one issue, including the cover. And he's done that for multiple issues of different comics.
What's that, like 20 grand?
Wait, there's more. He bought whole pages. Yes. But he bought a whole pages of a comic this year, and he's already bought 2-3 covers this year. And doing the mental math, knowing how much original art costs, that guy has to be so fucking loaded.
He's like, is he like an NBA executive?
I need to show you this guy's page after the show because I don't want people to know what I do.
Are you serious?
I need to show you what he has.
He bought a whole page.
He bought a whole issue.
And
this is not his first whole issue he's bought.
Like the fucking preliminaries.
All of it.
It's 17 by 11.
Oh, 11 by 17.
11 by 17.
Yes.
Holy shit.
But he's bought multiple covers of big books this year.
What did he?
And I don't know what he does. I just look at his collection because he has the same taste I do. So that's why
I'm so interested in what those pages are now.
I don't know what he does to sustain this.
No, but what are those pages?
Oh, I don't know how he could possibly display the whole thing. It's probably like in a book. I need to show you this. I need to fucking show you this. This is insanity.
Like you know what I'm imagining right now, right?
What?
Thomas Crown.
Oh, why?
Like he just takes it like this and just like displays it, get a cognac and just like
I would do that.
Admires it.
Oh, it'd be with a water, but I'd do it. Fuck.
Like this guy has like a whole Thomas Crown affair going on.
Dude, this guy has to be so loaded. I've been doing the mental math for a lot of these because I'll sometimes reference. This is how crazy I am. I'll see something he puts up, and then I'll look for other work similar by that artist.
Do you think we can get an interview with him without naming who he is or what he does and all that stuff?
No, I want to know all that fucking shit.
Can you message him?
I don't want to, because then he'll know what I do, which is I look at his collection every couple of weeks to see what he's got.